Good morning, Bill. There we go. Music, maestro, please. Good morning, Derek. Two of my faves. Good morning, fellas. Good morning. Good morning, Herbie. Nice to see you. Nerds. Good morning, everybody. Pacers, good morning. Good morning. How do you like those Colts, Pacers? Are you a Colts fan? Well, that team popping up out of nowhere. Good morning, Kitty Catzilla. Meow. Exception, good morning. Good morning, everybody. HB. Pacers, you guys are looking pretty good this year so far. Pretty good. Who would have thought with that quarterback? But sometimes all you need is a second chance somewhere. Oh, did the Manning Pacers? You had no idea. He built a children's hospital. Beautiful. Wazzy's just gonna listen today. You're lurking? Waz is on lurk. Waz is on the lurk channel. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. That's pretty fantastic, Pacers. I didn't know that he'd done the children's hospital. I'm sure it was a community state effort. Tony Dungy too. Oh, absolutely. Tony Dungy is pure character, a leader with immense character. Immense character. Good man. Tony Dungy is what I call a leader. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning. Did I see Sammy P? Was there a Sammy P in house? Mernin, Mr. Phillips. Mernin. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Tea with Pops today. We're gonna drink some tea together. Good morning, Queenie. I put a big, beautiful fruit in the mail for your gorgeous wife. We'll mail it out today. I was waiting for some boxes that came in yesterday. Shipping boxes. You know, the old white box. So, out today. Anybody that's waiting on something, if you haven't already received it, it's going out today. I think I have like 7 packages I did this morning. So, a few of them from last Friday. 1 in school, 2 at home today. Gotcha. Laura, good morning. Good morning, Jesus Christ. Good morning. Take a couple more minutes here this morning and say hello to each other. Carnivorous. And he is. Did you guys see the video that he posted where he's eating raw steak? I gotta be honest, I haven't worked my way up to raw steak. A very, 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 very thin piece of raw tuna, I can do that, and it actually tastes wonderful with some wasabi. Beef tartare, isn't it? Derek Anderson tartare, I think. Lynette, good morning. Good morning. Carpaccio. Is that what it is, Herbie? Carpaccio. Good morning. Good morning, Kimberly. Sarah Bear, good morning. Good morning, everybody. 29 people, 17 likes. What does that mean? Am I supposed to read anything into that? Should I read anything into that? 32 people, 18 likes. I'm not going to read anything into that. I'll just let you guys know that pushing the like button gives more access to more people to come and hang out with us. So the more you hit the like button, the more you're opening doors for strangers. Brothers and sisters, I should say. Good morning, HB. HB's here instead of 5 people. That'll work. That'll work. Good morning, everybody. 31 and 21. How are we doing so far? How are we doing so far? Nerdy makes marshmallows. Paige. Good morning, Paige. You can, Pacers? That's pretty good. Can you push the like button twice? So, Nerdy's marshmallows are fire. That's the word. Had to use a gas siphon for a boat motor and gas tank to evacuate the flush water from my tent and trays. That's a pretty smart idea, Aaron. The old siphon action. Summer Wheat, good morning, Summer. I'm not paranoid about goats. Are you? I actually really dig goats. Goats are cool. 33 and 26, we're starting to even up here. Starting to even up over here. Here we go. We have a very, very interesting article I want to share with you guys this morning. I'm going to wait till we get to 35 people, and then we're going to get things started here. We only need 3 more people. What did Paige do? Went to the North Carolina Folk Fest. That does sound fun. I like folk fests. I like the word fest. HBP this weekend. Kim, what's HBP? Kim, what's HBP? It's probably super obvious, but I'm missing it. What's HBP? Hillbilly Pumpkin is Hillbilly Pumpkin. Is that what it is? We've got some good Hillbilly Pumpkin. Yeah, that's what it is too. You're right, I think. Hillbilly Pumpkin, there it is. Yep. We're doing some nice Hillbilly Pumpkins over here. That's all. That was my last huge crop. This coming Friday, Thursday and Friday, we should be harvesting some albino Louis Vuitton. Some Louis Vuitton, which is very close to a ghost. It's almost like a ghost. We're gonna have some really, the fruit and the tubs are looking beautiful. Yeah, Sammy, HBP is my future child's name. HB Jr. Good morning, cannabis. Good morning. Renaissance Fest, or is it a fair? It's called a Renaissance Fest now. We used to call it a Renaissance Fair, and you had to spell fair with an E. F-A-I-R-E. Criminal Theory in Action. Good morning. Sounds lawyer-ish. Sounds lawyer-ish. Years ago, no longer active, but years ago, I got a license as a licensed paralegal. Licensed paralegal for, so I could go execute a lot of documents and stuff for my consulting business. It's fascinating. I thought to move on to become a lawyer, but then I changed direction and went and stood behind a pulpit. Good morning, Streety. Good morning. Okay. Here we go. You know what? Back in the day, too, though, Derek Anderson, this is the truth. I'll tell you guys a story. Good morning, Hagee. Hagee, I'm heading your way again. Thanksgiving-ish. I'm going to make sure this time to stop in and see you. We'll make arrangements, solid arrangements. But Thanksgiving-ish. I'm going to be spending 2 weeks down in Maryland. So, should definitely find time to hit a couple of battlefields with you. We'll go Civil War historians together. 40 people, 28 likes. Let's get this party started. I'm looking forward to it too, Haig, so I won't let us down this time. Okay, good morning. Ohio for Thanksgiving. No, I'm gonna be in, what's the name? Fenton? What's the name of my sister's town? Anyways, it's very close to Annapolis. Super close to Annapolis. Beautiful area of the state. I love me some Maryland. When I got out of my live-in rehab, I was in Southern California, and my family said, we don't want you to get out of rehab and go back to your same old apartment in the same, being available to the same group of people. We need you to fly across the country and go live with your sister, my older sister. And I moved in with her, and we started a couple of businesses, and I went back to school there and just did all kinds of other stuff. But I was in Maryland. I lived in Maryland for 5 years. Hello, Timothy. Would you guys welcome Timothy with a donut? Timothy, when you're new here, we throw chocolate donuts your way. Okay, we don't use white powdered donuts. Just as a courtesy to Pops. Because white powdered donuts trigger Pops. But good morning to Timothy. All those chocolate donuts right there, Timothy, they're yours. Okay? They're yours. We don't smoke cigarettes in class either. Okay, if you want to smoke a cigarette, you have to go outside. No, you can smoke anything you want. These guys don't smoke cigarettes here, Timothy. They do bomb breaks. Okay? Carnivorous, I've created well over 20. Because part one business I had was a small business consultant, helping people start their own businesses. So I maybe didn't get official, they weren't mine all the time. But, yeah. Criminal theory. Criminal, we're going to throw you some donuts too. Derek Anderson was in business when he was 18. I was in business when I was 18, but I didn't have a business license. I was selling mushrooms in the San Fernando Valley. Okay? Back before mushrooms were just like fringe. Nobody was really paying attention. But if you showed up at a party with mushrooms back in the 70s, forget about it. It's better than bringing a keg. Okay? Queenie, we believe you. Let's say under the table. Timothy, I live in Detroit. I'm from Los Angeles, Santa Monica. But I live in Detroit right now. I've been here for 5 years, and I absolutely love it here. We're just north of Detroit in one of the suburbs, and very close to the St. Clair River, and getting a lot of fishing when we can. Even though it looks like fishing season's over for the year. Well, look, I mean, not the whole season's not really over, but the guys I fish with are turning into hunters now. Okay? So they're out hunting, and I'm not a big hunter guy. I am going to, though, go along with them one day this year when they go hunting as an observer. I'll bring binoculars and a camera. Okay, I'll bring binoculars and a camera, and I'll watch. I'll be one of the watcher boys. Uh-oh, what do we do, Pops? Get that music going. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Let me ask you guys a question. There's 41 people here. There's 41 people here so far, just live. Okay? No chair, Jesus Christ. They don't let you bring chairs. No. You have to lay down in the bush next to them. You know, it's funny when you're going duck hunting, Jeff told me. When you go ice fishing, I would love to try ice fishing. Captain Jeff told me when you go duck hunting here in Michigan, you have to have 1 foot, at least 1 foot in the water. And they put out all the decoys and everything to call the ducks in. But they're laying back in the weeds, in the reeds and the weeds, and they camouflage themselves, and they're sitting there with their shotguns. But they have to have 1 foot in the water. Yeah, they're laying in a muddy, cold ditch, Kim. And then when the birds get close enough, then they can raise up and get a shot at them. Pretty interesting. They have to keep 1 foot in the water at all times. And the Department of Natural Resources here, I don't blame them, but they're very strict. Okay? They're very strict. Is that a good thing, Banga Chinking Chunk? That I am a Seguin? A Sengumaman? I look like a Sengunaman. Good morning. There's 100 people here. Plus 40. Let me ask you guys a question. Do any of you experience chronic pain? Chronic pain. I must say I don't, except unless you include migraines on occasion. Okay? But we have some chronic pain people here. I know that from my friends. Look how many people said yes already. Some form of chronic pain. Yeah, it's not, you are not alone, my friends. You are not alone. Daily. Wow. Nerd, that's me. And you had a doozy last night? I know for you, Jolie, I feel bad. Look at all of my friends that experience chronic pain. Kimberly, I might be joining your group right there. A little bit of arthritic joint action on occasion. But boy, listen to all of my friends. I feel terrible. Okay? I feel terrible to ask. I mean, I'm liking that I asked the question, but boy, there's a lot of us. Criminal Theory's in a wheelchair. Okay. Criminal Theory, I want you to do me a favor. Okay? Are you over 18 and in the United States? Criminal Theory. Are you over 18 and in the United States? Which is it? Are you? Jesus Christ, I had no idea. You're 38 and yes. Okay. Criminal Theory, I want you to send me your address. I want you to send me your address look at what Derek Anderson just wrote right there in his comment. That's my Gmail address. Okay? That's my Gmail address. I want you to send me your address, and I'm going to send you a little pack of supplemental supplements that may be able to help you with chronic pain. You'll be able to find out. Okay? We have an AV9 Edits in Mexico. Okay, thanks for being here, AV. Goosey's here. Lynette says it works. Good morning, Captain Obvious. I still picture you in your mushroom overalls. Really cute. Courtwing was riding high. Wing was riding high as a pistol squatting, kettle swinging fitness pro until chronic pain and depression nearly broke him. Then a single psilocybin session at NYU erased years of mental and physical agony overnight. That eureka moment launched him from patient to pioneer in the emerging field of psychedelic pain medicine. We asked Court, what's happening in the brain when psychedelics treat chronic pain? What type of conditions respond best? And how his rehabilitation protocols differ from traditional psychedelic therapy. So, do you guys want to hear an interview with Courtwing? Courtwing, founder and advocate. How many people want to hear this one? Based off of the people that have said yes to chronic pain issues, you're going to learn a lot. Let's explore this together. Yeah? This is from the Tricycle newsletter, where they do every Sunday, they do interviews written, and they give us a transcript of these interviews. Okay? Now, Ills says I look like a Bang Chan from Skiz. Okay. A Bang Pang. What is it? A Bang Chan. Okay. Just know I won't take it personal, whatever it looks like. If he's really hot looking, big deal. If they're really gooky looking, big deal. Tell us about your experience participating in an NYU psilocybin clinical trial. What happened? That was the first question for Courtwing. I was a participant in the USONA's psilocybin trial for major depressive disorder in March 2020. After 5 years of increasingly... Okay, Mama, that's so sweet of you, thank you. I was in full remission. No, wait, after 5 years of increasingly treatment-resistant depression with consistent suicidal ideation, I was in full remission by the end of the day. My MADRS score, that's how there's a template and a test that is provided for people that are experiencing depression, and it kind of gives you a spectrum and a scale of where you're at on the depression scale. MADRS score dropped from the low 40s to 0. I was shocked. It was qualitatively a different experience of remission compared to standard psychotropics, which had previously kind of plasticized my personality. But here's what really caught my attention. The next day, I was also in complete remission from 5+ years of chronic pain. Depression, chronic pain. I guess if you're in chronic pain, it would be easy to slip into depression. Of course. I had an extensive 30-plus year background in performance and pain coaching and was known for treating hard-to-treat chronic pain issues. The secret was I also had chronic pain myself. My whole body ached, and all my resources had stopped working. Yeah, Lynette, I'd pretty much stopped exercising because it wasn't helpful anymore. The morning after dosing, the pain was completely gone. I could suddenly do kettlebell movements and stretches that I had lost the ability to do. It was as if all the shooting pains and crunchiness in my joints had been blowtorched away. I like that, blowtorched away. I was literally popping one-legged squats in the kitchen. And then as I thought about one of my past clients who'd lost a leg to complex regional pain syndrome, it hit me. Why couldn't you combine high-dose psilocybin with mirror box therapy to treat phantom limb pain? 10 years later, good morning, Ole. Kim liked that Papa squat. 10 years later, NYC went into pandemic lockdown, New York City. I spent weeks researching online, and I eventually found a 1962 Japanese study treating phantom limb pain with low-dose LSD. 7 out of the 8 participants had total remission or clinically significant relief by the end of the day. 2 months later, I learned about Dr. Joel Castellano, Albert Lynn case study. Lynn had lost his leg and tried everything for phantom limb pain. But when he combined high-dose psilocybin with mirror box therapy, he got 24 hours of complete pain relief. Within 5 weeks, he was in total remission. I started reaching out to every researcher I could find, and I eventually formed Remap Therapeutics in November 2020. Later, I approached Bob Wold from Clusterbusters and Joe Moore from Psychedelics Today, and we founded the Psychedelics and Pain Association. I love doers. Give me 5 people that love doers. These people are doing. What's actually happening in the brain? This is the interviewers asking this question. What's actually happening in the brain and body when we use psilocybin or other psychedelics to create chronic pain? That's a good one, exception. Psychedelics work through multiple mechanisms simultaneously, while traditional pain meds typically target single pathways. Classical psychedelics act on the 5-HT2A receptor, which we largely suspect is responsible for persisting descending inhibition. That is, signals come down from your brain that inhibit pain traveling up through the spine. This effect persists even across nerve damage because many of the 5-HT2A receptors are located inside the cell body, not just on the axon that might be severed. Standard opioids, on the other hand, block noxious signals by activating opioid receptors throughout the body. Unfortunately, they come with a spillover effect, including addiction potential, respiratory risks, and emotional blunting. It's worth mentioning that chronic pain can exist completely in the absence of injury. Most people think pain is a sensation received by receptors that travel up the spine. But that's not always true. Pain is actually a perceptual output of the central nervous system based on prior experiences and current context. Chronic pain also involves structural nociplastic changes. People with low back pain have a 5 to 11% reduction in brain volume. Wow. In the dorsal lateral prefrontal cortex, because the brain's been hijacked for pain processing. There's this use it or lose it principle, where pathways not receiving normal input diminish. Psychedelics cause rapid structural neuroplasticity and can regrow those lost neural connections. Psychedelics are also potentially anti-inflammatory. Some of these compounds are significantly more potent than corticosteroids, even at sub-psychoactive levels. They're homeostatic autoregulators that bring inflammation down to where it's supposed to be normally, but not below the baseline like we see with steroids. If you want to talk about your inner healing intelligence, that's one physiological explanation. Are you guys liking this article so far? Give me 5 people that are liking this article so far. You can find this exact information in Tricycle Newsletter, yesterday's issue. Okay? It's fascinating to me. Like I told you guys, I'm turning into a not surgeon, but a neuro expert just because how much I'm learning. Okay? The interviewer is going to ask, are there certain types of chronic pain conditions that seem to respond better to psychedelic therapy than others? He answers, we typically see psychedelics being most useful for chronic pain versus acute pain. The conditions that respond best are conditions of central sensitization, such as fibromyalgia, phantom limb pain, and complex regional pain syndrome, and nonspecific low back pain. These are conditions where the nervous system is misinterpreting signals, where pain can exist without actual tissue damage. Inflammatory conditions, listen up, Kim, Paige, Pops. Inflammatory conditions like arthritis show strong response. Listen up, Nerdy, Pops. Cluster headaches respond incredibly well. We've seen remarkable results with infection-acquired chronic illness like Lyme disease and long COVID and autoimmune conditions. There's a case study from Oregon where someone went in for enlightenment and their lupus went into complete remission for over a year. What's interesting is the bidirectional comorbidity we see. Most people with severe PTSD also have chronic pain. In the MAPS MDMA trial for PTSD, people with the most severe chronic pain had significant relief by trial end, even though pain wasn't the stated outcome. These systems are deeply connected. Question: how do you design a psychedelic rehabilitation session specifically for pain versus depression? Is the protocol very different? I love this article. Answer: it's a real loss if you treat chronic pain like it's just repressed trauma. That can be a component, but it's usually a subcomponent. I've seen well-meaning facilitators who are ignorant of pain neurology dose. I've seen well-meaning facilitators who are ignorant of pain neurology dose someone with little preparation for what's happening in the body. The client gets this analgesic neuroplastic window where they suddenly don't hurt, and the facilitator says, dance, jump, be free. But this person has been deconditioned. They haven't loaded those joints that way in years, and they re-injure themselves. Facilitating. Boy, is there a lot of responsibility in that. And I'm just so grateful that I'm studying this now. And that's where a lot of this information is going to be useful for me. You have to spend significant time doing individual assessment through qualitative and quantitative sensory testing. You're looking for visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive deficits. Most people with chronic pain have areas of hypersensitivity, but also clear areas of hyposensitivity, where they've lost sensation somewhere. That's an alarm bell to the nervous system. Ideally, you're going to dermal distribution and nerve layers with tests like sharp dull discrimination across specific body regions. You identify 3 to 5 high payoff interventions, such as nerve glides or neurovisual drills, that they've been responsive to before the session. During the session, once you get that analgesic window, now is the time to make hay. You still have to adapt to their degree of conditioning, though. It's like jazz. You have some structure, but you're playing with it. It's great. So much to learn here, isn't there? Good morning, MVP. So much to learn. Question: what's the most promising research direction right now for psychedelic pain therapy? Where do you think we'll see breakthroughs first? The Psychedelic and Pain answer. The Psychedelic and Pain Association is completing what we hope will be the largest psychedelics and pain survey. We want to understand contexts, conditions, dosing, frequency, and what other therapeutic modalities people use alongside psychedelics. The biggest questions are around how psychedelics combine with these adjunctive therapies. For instance, a woman in 2022 study would dose and pain would go to 0, but it always wore off. When we combined it in real time with her previously ineffective home physiotherapy routine, pain relief lasted 2 weeks solidly. There may be a trans-diagnostic mechanisms underlying these conditions that psychedelics uniquely target. Why would psilocybin work for phantom limb pain, fibromyalgia, and Lyme disease in similar ways? Usually these are multi-symptom diseases requiring different specialists for each symptom. At the same time, treatment models need to be condition specific. Cluster headache patients don't need 2 psychotherapists for 8 hours. They need a trusted, safe supply with a trusted caregiver. but someone with accumulated issues on 15 different medications needs extensive preparation with pain neuroscience education through assessments and adjunctive therapy. The breakthroughs will come when we have expanded care teams who can speak a common language. I'm trying to learn that language. Underground practitioners need to learn pain neurology, and clinicians should learn transpersonal psychology so they can dialogue when trauma surfaces. Single factor thinking is the enemy. Whether you believe everything is trauma or everything is biomechanical, we need broad, open tent approaches that strive to be unbiased but very scrutinizing. Look up, those of you that are having, look this up. That's the end of the article. What a great article. I have so much to learn. Where is it? One second. Trying to come up with the name here. One second. This guy clearly knows what he's talking about. Okay. Here's your go-to. See if you can find these guys online and start getting educated. Okay? It's called the Psychedelics. Not the, it's just, there's no the. Psychedelics and Pain Association. Go there. I haven't looked it up, so I'm sending you to the Ethernet. But look up Psychedelics and Pain Association. That's his group. That's his group. And if you're experiencing chronic pain, which a lot of us say we are, let's get specific and let's compare it to some of the modalities that you have been using and start finding out, like the one question I have every time I read one of these articles, but you have to do a deep dive of your own, is when he says dose, what's that mean? What is the size of a dose? Is it a half a gram? Is it 3 grams? I don't know. So that's kind of a key probably at the end of the day, but that's not your first question. That should never be your first question. Your first question should be, what area should I be targeting? Okay? Good stuff this morning. Good stuff this morning. MVP, I love what he just said. Problem is I get a bunch of people wanting to dose. I don't want to stay grounded. I want to go also. Yeah, everybody wants to jump to the dose. But let's get educated. Let's figure it out. Let's know what's working. What areas are being targeted? What are your chronic pain issues? What have you done in the past to help them? What didn't work? And then if you are going to be using psilocybin for chronic pain, I'd say find a facilitator. Find a facilitator. And then we have them online. You don't have to go anywhere. We have them right here online. And one of these days I'll be one. I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to pretend. But I'm working on it. Give me 5 people that understand the value of a facilitator and wouldn't mind becoming one themselves. Give me 5 people. Michael Patterson. Give me 5 people that understand the value of a facilitator. Okay? And wouldn't it be great to be one yourself, because you're not doing it because you want somebody's money. You're doing it because you want to help them with their pain and or whatever other issues. Okay? Canada, I do like soccer. I like the World Cup. Lord Divine, you could be one. You have such a pretty spirit about you, people would be paying attention to you. Okay? Married Michael, how do you become one and where do I find one? Easy. Internet. Look it up. There's 3 or 4 places right now, even more, that are offering facilitator certification. And then there's the Ohio State program. And we're doing both here. And it's all self-paced where I can do it on the computer when I'm not over at the grow house. And I can tell you, you can absolutely get certified, Lynette. And I cannot tell you how much value there is in what I'm learning. I just love it. Give me 5 people that love to learn. Love to learn. Herbie, the costs. That's a good question. The one organization that I'm involved in, the certification program, $1,500. It's costing $1,500. We're considering it an expense, and we'll pay it. The Ohio State program, $250. That's all it takes. Okay? It's cheaper than Harvard, and you're going to help a whole lot of people, right, Lynette? In Oregon, it's 3 months and $13,000. Yeah, and a lot of that $13,000 goes straight to the state. It goes straight to the state. Okay? Let's look at the 3rd agreement together. We're in the 4 agreements. Okay? We're in the 3 agreements. Oh, excuse me, the 4 agreements, but we're working on the 3rd agreement. Okay? And the 3rd agreement is that we don't make assumptions. I love the idea. I want to reinforce the word make. I want to reinforce the word make. Make means you actually manufactured it. It means you created it. It wasn't something floating out there and you grabbed it and you have now information. This is something you imagined. You manifested. Your own little assumptions. And we have thousands and thousands of these in our brain. And it will include confirmation bias for sure, Streety. And that's a portion of it. But we create them, and then we live in the pain and fear from them. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And we were taught as our culture that we live in, we were taught to make assumptions. I watched my elders do it. I watched my teachers do it. I watched the ministers do it. I watched the politicians do it. I watched everybody that quote unquote was supposed to be a leader do it. Just imagine the day you stop making assumptions, especially assumptions with your partner, and eventually with everyone in your life. Start with your partner. Start with your partner. Do you have assumptions already? Will you have some today? Don't make those today. Start today and start with your partner. And you're going to find out it's actually not that hard to do. Stop making assumptions. And what's the easiest way to stop making an assumption? What's the key to not making an assumption? Talk to me. What's the key? What's the protocol for not making assumptions? Practice definitely takes practice. Aaron said it. Communication. We practice communication. And then we practice having no expectations. But the key is communication. You have to know. You have to clarify. You have to, wait a minute. I don't want to make an assumption here. Let's get some clarity on this. Once you start doing that, aren't we supposed to have great communication with our partners? You know how much we spend our life just assuming that they know? And you just sit around in this little bubble of, well, they know, and I don't need to communicate to them. And she's bouncing around in her bubble, and he's bouncing around in his bubble. And they're not communicating. And once we start losing communication, our relationships start to fail. The key is communication. Oh, your way of communicating will change completely. And your relationships will no longer suffer from conflicts created by mistaken assumptions. How do we do it? Sounds hard. The way to keep yourself from making assumptions is to ask questions. Make sure the communication is clear. And if you don't understand, ask. Have the courage to ask questions until you are as clear as you can be. And even then, do not assume that you know all there is to know about a given situation. Once you hear the answer, you will not have to make assumptions because you're going to know the truth. Also, find your voice to ask for what you want. We don't do this. I didn't do it very well at all. Well, I don't want to tell them what I really want. So they're going to think I'm fill in the blank. So we walk around in life not communicating with people. Sarah Bear, it's very hard because you weren't taught how to do it. We were taught the exact opposite. We're breaking old patterns and even things that have become part of our personality now. Well, I'm too strong to need that information. If I asked, they would think I was weak. We were taught, Sarah Bear, we were taught to keep our mouths shut. Not Pops. I've been talking my whole life. Find your voice. It takes courage. This is the spiritual warrior. It's a battle against the world and the programs that you already have. It's literally a spiritual battle that we have. And in order to be a good warrior, you have to be courageous. Don't care what they think about you. We're back at agreement number 2. I don't care. I'm not going to take it personally because you think I'm goofy because I have to ask 10 questions. I have to ask them. If I don't, I'm going to be the one suffering from the pain. And then I'm going to project it out on you and everyone else around me. So I'm going to take the risk, have the courage to ask all the appropriate questions. Find your voice to ask for what you want. Here's the crazy part. I struggle with this. The next one. I struggle with this. I find it, and I'm going to ask a quick question. How many people find it easier to say yes than to say no? How many people find it easier? Yeah, I'm just okay, yes. How many people find it easier to say yes than to say no? We all do. I would say most of us do. We were taught, say yes. You can't say no. Have the courage to say no. Pops. We've been taught, say yes. In many cases. You know what we do when we say yes all the time? We overcommit and we underdeliver. Have you ever done that? Used to. Especially as a contractor. Taking on jobs I don't even have the business to be taking on right now just because I couldn't pass up the contract. But I'd put you off and make up stories about why I couldn't show up to the job because I'm really at 3 other ones at the same time. That's not very impeccable, is it? That's pretty poor communication. And it all comes from, I don't want to say no. So I'll overcommit instead. So I'll sacrifice my impeccability. Today I'm not willing to sacrifice my impeccability to please somebody. I'm not. If I have the ability to say yes today, I will. If I can't do it, I'll tell you no. I will not sacrifice the practice of impeccability. Doesn't mean I'm impeccable all the time. But this is a place I know I can fail. I know I can slip right out of impeccability because I say yes when I mean no, or when I should have said no. And it works the other way around too. How many times do we say no when we should have said yes? We do that one too. A little less frequent, but we say no to volunteering, and we stay home and we watch TV. We say no to helping the neighbor, and instead do something for yourself. There's many times we say no that our life would be better had we said yes. Usually we didn't say yes because we didn't have all the information, because we didn't have the courage to ask all the questions. Do you understand how important it is? Do you understand how important it is to ask all the questions? And don't care what people think about you because you are. Oh, he's anal retentive. I remember the first time I heard that term. My God, it was used on me. I was like, my God, that was like that was one of the worst things you could ever call me. It took me about 10 minutes to figure out what the hell you even meant. After that, we throw that word around like it's, that term around like it's okay. People aren't anal retentive. First of all, that's mean. It's close to a bullying word. I imagine we can use it humorously in context once in a while. But why? Why even reference something about an anus when you're talking about another human being? It's not kind. Ask questions. Here's what your rights are. Here's what your rights are. You have the right, the human dignity, the right to say yes, and equally you have the right to say no. We need to practice that. We need to practice both. Everybody has the right to tell you no or yes, but you always have the right to ask. When someone tells you no, go back to the second principle, second agreement. Don't take it personal. He or she has the right to say no. And you can't possibly understand the totality of what's in their mind and why they had to say no. You can't. So you need to respect their right to say no. You could ask for anything you want, but you also have to be prepared to hear no. Sometimes we don't ask because we're afraid to hear no. So we don't ask at all. And there was a yes on the end of the person's tongue. But you didn't ask. You didn't communicate. Is any of this ringing true for any of you? I used to be a yes man, people pleaser. Because if I pleased you, that must be a reflection of I'm a good guy. Well, no, you're just a people pleaser. And you're going to be in a lot of pain because you said yes to everybody. People pleasing doesn't really please people. You're just letting yourself off the hook for a few seconds. But there's going to be consequences. You have the right to not be a people pleaser. That's beautiful, Joe. Everybody has the right to tell you no or yes, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has the right to ask you, and you have the right to say yes or no. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't even go into the reasons why, but I hope you respect that I can't. If they get butthurt over it, they're not practicing the second agreement, which is don't take it personal. Have you ever been butthurt because someone told you no? Easy to get butthurt because you're not practicing the second agreement. The second agreement simply says, don't take it personal. Man, these agreements get you to live in the most simple and clean and pure life. Simple. It all relates. Everybody has the right to ask you, and you have the right to say yes or no. Practice no. Practice no when you're overwhelmed. Practice no when you can't. Practice no when it's not healthy for you. There's so many things I used to practice yes on, knowing this isn't healthy for me, but I didn't care about me. I cared about what you thought about me. Wacko! How is that good for my mental health? If you don't understand something, it's better for you to ask and be clear instead of making assumptions. The day you stop making assumptions, you will communicate cleanly and clearly and free of emotional poison. Here we go back to the agreement number 1. Without making assumptions, your word becomes impeccable. With clear communication, all your relationships will change. All your relationships will change, not only with your partner, but with everyone else. Man, that sounds like heaven on earth to me. That's a way different kind of living than I've lived 90% of my life. That sounds like heaven on earth. You won't need to make assumptions because everything becomes clear. This is what I want. This is what you want. If we communicate in this way, our word becomes impeccable. Here we go. Let's take it from the personal level and put it on the global level. Let's put it on the global level. If all humans could communicate in this way with impeccability of the word, there would be no wars, no violence, no misunderstandings. If we could retrain the world to communicate clearly, courageously, understanding each and every one of us has the right to say yes and to say no. Understanding each one of us has the right to ask anything we want, being prepared for the answer. There would be no war, no violence, and no misunderstandings. Who wants to live in that world? We're trying to create it here. One little cell at a time. The T cell, the T crew. We're working on this. We're working on this exact principle. That's why it feels good to be here. That's why it feels good to be here. Because we've got people here with chronic pain. We've got people here going through all kinds of stuff at a personal level. But they're here. And they're practicing. And individually, one person at a time, 50 people, 54 right now. Later on today, it'll be about 480, 500 people that will have watched this program today alone. Across the world. Little slice, I know it. I know we're not the biggest group out there. And I also know that my ego used to count. I know my ego used to count. I didn't care about the message, I cared about how many. The pastors in churches, you know what they do at the pastor conferences? You know what they do? They compare each other. How many did you get at your altar call this month? How big's your congregation? What was it when you started? What is it now? Instead of helping souls, you're counting them. As if somehow or another it's about you. And we did that. Like a sales manager. Like sales managers. I've been in a sales position. I worked for Home Depot for years as a district sales manager. And teaching the managers and stuff, this different stuff. And then once a week, we'd have to have a phone call with downtown headquarters in Atlanta. And you'd have to report your sales numbers. And there were 30 different managers across the United States reporting their numbers to corporate on a conference call. This was before Zoom. And you couldn't wait till they came to you to ask your district, what are the numbers this reporting period on your district? And darn if I didn't always want to be in the top 1, 2, or 3. If I was anything less than the top 1, 2, or 3 highest numbers reported, I felt like a failure. Can I tell you guys a secret? Can I tell you guys a quick secret? Can I tell you guys a secret? Do you think a guy that cares like that ever made any of the numbers up? Falsified them a little bit? Bumped them? Pumped them? Think? You think the number was 50, but I reported a 55? Not very impeccable, is it? The world teaches you to do that. Creepy! Just so you can be reported in as the top 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, hey. I gotta stay on top here. Preachers are doing it at their conferences, Sam. Shady math. Yep. This is the first time I've ever told the public, the world, the whole world. This is the first time I've ever told anybody. I pumped a few numbers. Not often, not all the time. I'm not, you're going to get caught. But yeah, I did a couple of pumps. Not very good communication there. Not very impeccable there. And internally, you know you're doing it. Internally, you know you're a shade ball. I'm supposed to be leading this group of people and teaching them the right and the wrong. And I'm the biggest offender at the highest level. I told you guys. I love admitting stuff nowadays. Okay, I love it. Because there's no, I have no pain. I don't have any pain over it. Oh. All human problems would be resolved if we could just have good, clear communication. There's just a touch more of this chapter. We'll pick it up tomorrow and finish off this concept of don't make assumptions, don't have expectations, do things for the right reasons. Mike, I'm learning. I'm learning right in front of you guys, okay? But you're seeing the result, I hope you are. You're seeing the result of a man that's practicing. I'm not there all the way. I hope I never get there all the way, or then I have to stop practicing and just float. I'll just be floating around like perfect. I don't want to be. I want to keep growing. Floating's for later on. Ice cream, you're right. That's all kinds of malpractice. And HB, even if there was judgment here, I wouldn't take it personally. The whole thing works, you guys. These 4 agreements are so beautiful for me. They've changed my life. They've given me virtually a new personality. It's good message for today. Am I right? I'm not taking credit for it. It's the message. It's one heck of a message for us, isn't it? I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the message. One heck of a great message. We have the right to ask for whatever we want. And we also have the right to say yes or to say no. And I suppose, I'm making an assumption, that some of us would be better off if we said no more often. Our yeses can create a lot of pain. Especially if we don't come through. If we weren't impeccable when we said yes, then it's time to say no. You guys go have a wonderful day. 4 things. Be impeccable, especially with your word, but in actions too. Don't report false sales numbers, okay? Don't do it! It's not worth it. Don't take things personal. Don't make assumptions. And HB, how do we finish this off? HB, what's our fourth agreement? Always, always, always do your best. We're going to be covering that one. We'll be getting into the fourth agreement this week. What's that mean? Have a wonderful day, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. I think we're doing a wonderful thing, especially if we take it from here in the mornings and we live it out through the day. And we bring it to our partners, and we bring it to our babies, our children at home, and our co-workers, and our neighbors, and our friends, and start living an impeccable lifestyle. You will be amazed how attractive you become. So, Mike Butterball and Anthony T, and HB and Cannabis, Aaron Catzilla Ice Cream, Streety, wear your smile today, crew. It looks wonderful on you. That's a good one. Kim, International Kindness Ambassador, HB, Mike Butterball, Cleany, Billy D, B. Hendricks, Jesus Christ, Mike Butterball, Lynette Greeny, Sam P, Captain Obvious, MVP, I love it when he's here, Nippy, Catzilla Exception, Sarah Made Sense, Derek Anderson. Oh, see how creepy. There's a chick in our horseshoe league that does that. She tanks her first 6 games to set her low handicap, then dominates. And she knows she's doing it. It's like, why don't you just steal the trophy? B. Hendricks, Cleany, Sarah Bear, Haig, snapping at you, big guy. Jesse James, nice to see you here. Aaron, Jolie. Jolie, look up that group about the pain management. Sharon Sparks, Laura, have a divine day. Mike, Butterball, ice cream, and carnivorous, and Kim. You bet, Jesus Christ in Australia. Sarah Bear and Herbs and J.W. Owen. Laura and Jesse James and B. Hendricks and Mr. Phillips and Pidgey Page. Jesus Christ, Notorious Skate, Married Michael, Sammy P. Lynette. We'll always love Lynette's comments. The Master Beef, Exception, Hawa Diddy. Good morning, Mike Butterball, J.W. Owen, Mello. You have a great day. Hawa Diddy, you come back. Mike Patterson, Juan Tiller, good morning. Married Michael, I'm out. Pops, peace, kindness, and practice your 4 agreements. See you tomorrow.